Hello, good evening, everybody. Tomek K from Alby, and episode of Alby testing paper PPQ.AI tool by Matt Alborg, our guest today. Matt, what's up?
Hi, Tomek. How are you?
I see that I'm a bit darker than you, and for the our time zone, I'm in Poland. I might look a bit tired after working for Bitcoin Film Fest and Alby, but I'm super happy to see you in daylight in New York, right?
That's right. Yep, I'm in New York City.
We are talking with Matt because searching for new pages, new projects for our Discover page. Alby Discover page, place where you can get out, find, explore every nice tool in the Lightning universe where you can spend bitcoins, use your bitcoins on the web with Alby. Various sites from shopping through podcast players, some AI bots, and recently there has been quite a few AI pages where you paid in stats for queries, subscriptions with your card, corporation. And I discovered there is a new one. I'm sorry, I'm having problem. PAYPERQ.AI, which Matt built, right?
Yep,
ChatGPT.
PPQ.AI is the domain name.
You'll find, of course, links in the description and pinned comment. So first time I pay per Q. Matt, you would like to introduce it?
Yeah. So, as you alluded to, this tool is kind of built. There are two use cases that I see that are potentially powerful. The first is people trying to avoid subscriptions through their AI. So, ChatGPT currently charges $20 a month for access to GPT-4. But if you uh, set it up for sale via the Lightning Network, you can pay just a couple of pennies per query. So I think that's a big potential advantage for a lot of folks out there who don't want to pay the entire $20 a month. The second use case is people around the world who may not have access to convenient access to a credit card that they could link to OpenAI. And so for those people that don't conveniently get credit card access, but they might be just starting to learn about Bitcoin, this is an option for them as well. So yeah, the basic premise of the website is it's as close to as possible the regular ChatGPT experience. The user interface is as similar as possible, so it looks familiar to people who've already used ChatGPT before. Um, and yeah, I have a few different models available right now. The main one that most people will
Three,
use
right?
is, yeah, there's three. So I have GPT-4 Turbo. That's the main one. I also have the 3.5, which is actually already free from OpenAI. So I don't foresee that a ton of people would use this, but I could be wrong. And then the last option is just regular vanilla GPT-4, which according to some people is actually like, apparently the turbo takes some shortcuts in computation. So some people asked for that, so I added it, and we'll see if I keep it or not. But yeah, you just,
What is it?
yeah, so according to some people, GPT-4 Turbo takes some shortcuts in terms of how it generates the output. And so you might not get as high of quality of response as you would with the regular GPT-4. But I haven't confirmed that. This is just, when I posted the tool on Stacker News, a couple of people came forward and said, I would much rather just use GPT-4, even though it's more expensive than the Turbo version. So we'll see if it's popular or not. I just added it because people requested it.
Just come in, ask me to sign up or anything. I just ask him a question, ask me for an invoice. All right, I paid. Check how expensive. Default is the more.
Yeah, so prompt we can go into later. You don't have to use a prompt. Just type in answer question without a slash. Yeah. Yeah, so the cost is on the left-hand side, account info. It's a little clickable link there. Go up. There it is. So if you click that, you'll see the cost of the queries.
18 input tokens, 33 sats. The calculation how many tokens you need to waste to make it cheaper than more affordable than $20 subscription at GPT.
Yeah, so if you're using GPT-4 Turbo and you're asking 20 questions a day, every single day for an entire month, that will add up to about $12. Um, that's for an average size question, of course.
Again, how
Sometimes,
often?
so if you put in 20 questions a day, 30 days a month, that's going to add up to about $12, which is still $8 short of the subscription fee. Um, there obviously a lot of uh, dependencies there. If you're asking longer questions, they're going to cost more money, that type of thing. But in general, I think for most users, this should save them like 50 to 75%.
I use, for example, for my AI usage, I use this Harpa extension. If it's open source, but it's quite convenient. And I can plug in my GPT there, right? I'm paying for GPT. Plug in with some API to your service.
No. So yeah, the whole idea behind my service is you're not plugging in your API that's already linked to a credit card. You're instead paying me Bitcoin and you're using my API key to run the queries.
You have just single GPT for don't overrun any limits.
Uh, Well, I haven't hit any limits yet. I have a company account with OpenAI. They have tiers. So as soon as I hit a certain next tier of usage, assuming get lots more users, it may eventually hit some sort of limit. But it's a business account and it's designed to scale for a business. So theoretically, I could be processing hundreds of thousands of queries a day, and it shouldn't. It should be fine.
Awesome. Can it generate images? I use DALI 3 a lot with.
Yeah, not yet, but soon. Um, I wanted to build it. I wanted to really focus on the user experience of like the average professional developer, because that's kind of how I use it. And um, so I wanted to make sure that it looked as clean as possible and was similar as possible to the regular experience. And then later on, I will definitely be adding in Dolly and there's a couple of other features that are missing in this implementation. For example, you can't drag and drop an image into this yet, but you will be able to soon. You can't upload documents yet, but you will be soon. So yeah, there are some limitations, but in theory, once I um, get on top of the backlog, the development backlog, it should have every single capability that a normal subscription has.
Of already a feature that I just found folders, and with searching through messages, what I don't like about GPT-4 is that about OpenAI interface, that I cannot search through my conversations. Here I can at least search through titles. Does it search also through the content?
Uh, so if you go into the way that I search through the content is um, I'm not sure if it searches through all of the conversations. What I do is I search through um, I just do a control F on whatever conversation, and that's how I find topics. But I don't know if it's possible um, to search through all conversations. And the reason why I don't know is because I'm actually heavily borrowing this user interface from some open source repository that was already out there. So I don't 100% have tested out everything about it.
That's
Yeah.
something I already love. This is something I needed. How it works on behind? It just uses WebLN, right, to create invoice.
Yes.
And you deposit sats onto your account, right? So you take some sats in custody, and you have accounts of users, right?
Yeah. I mean, legally speaking, what's going on is you're buying credit from me. When you say depositing sats, that's like more of a, there is no withdrawal option. For example, if you deposit $1, then it's $1 credit, and you can't get the dollar back out if you want to. But the idea is that especially with Alby, people are only going to be depositing a few cents at a time, so they should never have that problem of depositing too much and not getting their money back.
Did you think about using like maybe Nostr Wallet Connect, some option to plug the user's own wallet and not being like between money?
Yeah, so I looked into Bitcoin Connect specifically, which has Nostr Wallet connected within it. It's something that I'm looking at adding. I think Bitcoin Connect needs to be a little more polished, and I also think that the Nostr Wallet Connect wallets need to become a little more polished. For example, when I was testing this out with Bitcoin Connect, and I was making payments from Mutiny, the Mutiny payments take like 10 seconds to go through. And that was messing up all sorts of things on my back end when it was taking 10 seconds or more to clear each payment. So for now, I'm only using Alby, but I definitely want to add in all Nostr Wallet Connect wallets.
Yeah, that's a good point to flag to our friends. So nice. It deposits, it converts it to dollars. Budgets, I have account info. Can I withdraw? You mentioned something about withdraw.
Yeah, you cannot withdraw. So those are credits. Those are not actually like withdrawable sets. And I have to do that for legal reasons. Because if I call them credits and they're not withdrawable, then I'm not considered to be a custodian of your money. And if I were a custodian of your money, then there's a whole bunch of other requirements that I have to meet, which I'm not interested in. Right.
So if I
Yeah.
have it longer, it also costs probably.
Yeah. So the whole thing with the max context is most people don't know this, but in ChatGPT, when you have a conversation, the longer the conversation gets, every question you ask draws upon the entire conversation history. So that's every question and every answer that the bot gave you but previously in that conversation. So in what the subscription service does is that it'll actually, without telling you, kind of limit how much of your previous conversation it's actually incorporating into the next input. But in this case, I have a max context where you can actually specify to the bot how much of the conversation history you want it to remember. And what that does is it helps. I'm sure you've run into this before with ChatGPT, where you get like 7 questions down, and then it forgot what your first question was, and it starts, you know. So this is a way to prevent that. But like you said, the more context that you allow for it to use, the more expensive the query will get. So yeah, it's set at a default of 2,000 tokens, which is basically around 2,000 words. And that should suffice for most people's purposes. But if you're finding that it's not good enough for you, then you can adjust it yourself.
But in ChatGPT, OpenAI interface, I cannot adjust it, right?
Right. I don't think you can adjust it, and I think they obfuscate that behind the scenes. It's possible that they have added it in, but I think with the subscription service, they just keep it behind the scenes, and they don't really tell you that they're kind of limiting the context allowable. I also think they're doing some kind of clever things behind the scenes as well to compensate for the fact that they're not giving you as much context. But yeah, I have found I still use the regular ChatGPT a lot because I like to compare my bot's experience versus the real deal. And I do find that if you open up the context on my bot to its full capacity, it does do better than ChatGPT subscription does. So there is, in a way, my bot is actually a more pure form of the experience.
That's the case for most of the bots that
So a lot of the other bots don't give you the ability to set your max context. They kind of make that decision for you, which again, maybe that's a user-friendly thing to do, but for me, I'm targeting kind of professionals and professional level people who don't mind spending a little extra and also who might insist on the highest quality possible. So that's kind of the trade-off that I've made. It's slightly more complex where you have to make that setting, but I think it's what most professionals would actually prefer.
doesn't search the.
Mine does not search the web yet, but again, that's something that I can add in the future.
Are you expert in? Are you working with?
No. Uh, yeah, that for one person that just becomes way too much work. I simply, and not only that, but these open models are not of the quality of GPT-4 yet or Claude 3 yet. So I would really like to add in some open models. Um, they wouldn't be ones that I built, certainly, because again, I don't have that time to be doing that. I do have a background in data science, but it's still an enormous task. But I would love to plug into some open models and have them as options in the dropdown on the bot.
Congrats. How many users do you have? How do people find you?
Yeah, so I did let's call it a soft launch on Stacker News a couple weeks ago. Um, I haven't actually formally launched it yet. That's coming probably on Monday, Tuesday next week, where I talk about it on Twitter. But right now, I'm having like 5 or 6 people a day use it, and I would say generally half of the people that use it are coming back to use it again on a different day. So uh, it's a small number of people, but I think it's encouraging to see that people are coming back to use it again and again. So
If you add search the web and Dali that I'm using for OpenAI,
yeah, that's what I want to get to. I want to give people no reason to not switch. And I think this is a really truly strong use case for Lightning in general. Um, uh, and I think that a lot of the subscriptions that we've come to deal with over the years, it's partly psychology of these businesses. It's in their interest to get you to pay for something you're not using or pay for something that you forget about. Um, but I also think it has to do with the credit card fees and stuff. It's not tenable to do micropayments in traditional payment networks, but it is in Lightning. And so I think this could represent the very beginning of the pendulum swinging back against subscriptions where people actually start paying on a per use basis.
how would OpenAI or this type of providers access, or would they eventually need to?
So I read through OpenAI's terms of service extensively, and there's nothing that my bot is doing that goes against their terms of service. Additionally, they give individuals access to the API already. As you said, you've already connected your credit card, and then they give you an API key, and then you're getting charged on a pure per query basis, and you just plug it into some interface online. So I don't think they would be unhappy with the fact that people are getting away from subscriptions, but I still think, yeah, it's a little bit of a worry of mine that they maybe if I really lean on that marketing point of like drop your subscription and come to my website, maybe that would upset them. I don't know. But they seem to have already been doing that themselves when they offer the API on an individual basis. So I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Due diligence. In the meantime, I discovered that there is another sidebar on shows us prompts. I don't think I'm super
Yep.
familiar how you can use it. I know that in GPTs also you can set up your customers and you basically give it like a free prompt towards you. I'm not sure if I understand those because I haven't played with.
Sure. Yeah, I'm still learning these myself, but I have found a couple of really cool ones. So first, go and type in new prompt. A prompt is essentially something that you're telling, it's extra text that you're inputting into the conversation that the bot will act accordingly to. So name this shorten output. Yeah, shorten output. And then description, yeah, just put shorten output. And then you can say in the prompt, say, please make responses half as long as they normally would be. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to cut down on the amount of output tokens that you're getting in your answers. Um, uh,
Will add amount of tokens.
it will subtract the amount of tokens. So you're telling it to give. So normally it will give an answer based on, if you type in what is Bitcoin, it'll give you like a 10 paragraph answer of what Bitcoin is. What this prompt is telling it is, instead of giving it the normal 10 paragraph answer, give it the 5 paragraph answer. And that's a way for you to save money through my bot because I'm charging on a per token basis. It's also a way, maybe you're not a fan of 10 paragraph responses. You can also put in prompts like, when you give me code, do not include comments. So that's another way for you to, if you don't like ChatGPT adding a bunch of comments to your code, you can put in a prompt that says, don't add comments to my code. So let's see, it should be fairly short. See, that's pretty short. If you,
Is it
wait,
on? How do I know that it?
actually, you didn't even use it there. So, okay, so go back, click save. And then in the input bar, type slash. Yep. And then use the prompt, shorten output, and then type in that same question, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Yes, so keep that there and then type your question after that. Or before, yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Template.
Yes. And it should
If I make it shorter, do I make him?
That's a good question. I mean, that's when you get into the dynamics of how LLMs actually work. I don't have an answer to that. When I've toyed around with it, it doesn't appear to make it that much more stupid. Prompts in general help me. They actually do things better. So again, it's both an art and a science when you play around with the prompts. But I have it in there because I think it's a cool functionality. And yeah.
Also, the bug. Did I find a bug?
You
Found
probably
something
did.
null.
Yeah, I don't
Surprise.
know. I had somebody else report something like this to me as well. That's
I
why
guess
I haven't.
looks like here it went over my balance because I paid for something 150 stats, and
Yeah,
looks like on around time I overdo balance, and I still was using it
possibly.
for free.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I haven't hard launched. I haven't done my big launch yet because there are bugs that I'm still working out. So
Right, for long
yeah,
answers.
see what it does.
Okay, save? Like, can I move my account and log else or?
Yeah, so your credit is stored in your local storage. So when you come back, when you close out the tab and you come back on a later date, it should still be in there. The same goes for all of your conversations. So all of your conversations are also stored in local storage. So when you come back, it should remember all of the conversations that you had before, and essentially it should be the same experience. Now, if by chance you accidentally delete your local storage, that can happen if you clear your cookies or delete browser history or something like that. You can go into the invoice that you use, in the memo of the invoice that you originally paid with. It will also have your credit ID in there. So if you go to your Alby wallet, on that payment, it should say, it should have the invoice in there, and you can use that and plug it in.
Credit ID.
Correct. Yep. So then you take that and you plug it back in. Well, so you don't have the problem. If you go and delete your cookies, go and delete your cookies and then refresh.
The mode in session.
I think so. Yeah.
Domain, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks. I got that from Sergey from Bitrefill. Gave me that genius idea. So yeah, go and click on the account info right now, and then click here, and then enter it in, submit, and yeah, okay, that actually makes total sense. Because I'm not storing your conversation history on my servers at all. So if you do redeem your credit ID, you're not going to get your old conversations back, unfortunately.
Tokens.
Exactly. Yep.
Something that I have not clicked through yet.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's still rough around the edges. There's still a lot of features that I want to add, but again, my mission is to make this the go-to experience for people, for professionals and developers using ChatGPT on a daily basis. I want them to come to my website, um, and I will have, eventually models that are not even with OpenAI. So I'll have Claude models, I'll have Google models, I'll have open source models, and there'll just be one big drop down where they can choose whatever experience they're looking for, which will be awesome. Yeah.
Was better. I'm almost convinced to switch.
Yeah.
We have
I'll
so
get
far
you
four
there.
users. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I have a Telegram group.
Yep. Yeah, this is just, if you get a bug or something like that, go there and I'll help you through it, and I'll certainly give you your money back if you lose money, uh, because I have had a few bugs.
Be my back bounty. Oh, there is also a
Yep. Yeah, I've been in Bitcoin a very long time. I used to have a website called usefultulips.org, where I used to observe and monitor and explain peer-to-peer trading volumes around the world. So, when volumes increase in Nigeria or Argentina or Kenya, uh, you would have used to be able to come to my website and see that, and I would have articles explaining what's going on, people using it for remittance, getting around capital controls, stuff like that. Um, I no longer maintain that website, but I'm working on this bot full time. But I also do work at Bitrefill on a part-time basis, and I've worked with Bitrefill for um, uh, since 2020. It's a great company and awesome people and great culture. So I don't want to leave them just yet. But yeah, I am a data analyst, data scientist type person. I look into customer behavior, buying patterns, stuff like that, and help the marketing team, the biz dev team find new opportunities, things like that.
Congrats on that. It's Maximum does lots of data analysis, political research. And on this website, he is tracking various AI models, asking them various questions from political compass every day, and tracking how they perform on it. How much biased are they? All of them are in a green quarter.
Yeah, of course.
Happy about it. Hopefully, tools like you will also bring competition to the space, and people can have choice, and they will choose less biased. Also, that such tools they can see how biased are that they're using.
Yep.
There is pressure for sure, slowly but coming from you, from Max, that or not. Thank you, Matt. I wish you best in your journey. There is anything I don't know that you feel like Alby could help, or maybe we can integrate somehow closer, let us know. I
Will
hope that
do.
really.
I'm just, this is, I've been in Bitcoin so long, and I always felt like something was missing. I wanted to build something, and so this is my shot at it, and I'm taking it seriously, and I really do want this. I think it's very important that Bitcoin is used on a day-to-day basis. I think it's important for its long-term future, and so I think the best place you can work right now is building tools that make Bitcoin useful on a daily basis. So it permeates the world a lot more than just through exchange accounts and institutions and stuff like that. So this is my, one attempt of kind of making it more of a daily use thing.
Well, one, but probably not last. Builders like you, soon we will see probably something another exciting from your studio art. It guys do. Is there behind like is the backend yours, or do you use this L402 stuff?
No, yeah, I'm not using L402. Based on my research, it didn't make sense for me. There's an extra request that doesn't need to happen in L402 in my use case in particular. But yeah, I didn't know anything about Lightning payments. I mean, I conceptually have been reading on Lightning for years now, but I didn't know anything about coding Lightning until like 3 months ago. And I just started asking all of my buddies who did code on Lightning, how do I do this? Point me in the right direction. And I've had several calls with Alby. You guys have helped me a lot. I don't think I would have gotten this far, or at least as fast as I did, without you guys. I probably spent 3 hours on the phone with you guys helping me build this thing. So
Well,
I
that's
love it.
great to hear. Thank you. This is what Albi is for, and I'm happy to hear in representing our team. Thank you also for building this. This makes all of us go forward. That there is build and there is such a good feedback, and it's our mission of making building on working. Build it like move some step towards Nostr. I saw that some of these projects they are like thinking about building data vending machines, or these models being connected by Nostr accounts, and you can basically PM an AI, and if you tap an invoice, tap a node, then you get response. Or is it like too complicated for this type of interface?
it, it's 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 not that it's too complicated, and I'm still exploring Nostr myself. A week ago, I wanted to, when I did the Stacker News launch, I also wanted to launch on Nostr, and I've been toying around with Nostr for the last year plus. It's still not there yet on a user experience level, and when I see people using Nostr in their tools, to me, it seems a lot like a novelty more than an actually useful tool. Um, I stand to be corrected for sure, and I'm sure there will come a time when, you know, like for example, adding Nostr login to my bot may be beneficial or something like that. But as of right now, I don't see the benefit, and I just see it kind of as more of a novelty than anything. So, but I'm still learning myself. So if somebody wants to point out to me, like, you know, the 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 killer use case there, then I would definitely be open to learning.
Hope that challenges will come from someone, and eventually there will be prove itself. Right, that state yet. Lots of building.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there will be use. Anyway, Matt, not taking more of your time. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for presenting your tool. I hope some of users come through Alby to you. If you guys want to follow Matt, if join the project, support in any way, the links are below this video. There. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Matt. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much, Tom.